Hey, what is up everyone, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I wanted to talk about the question if video games can actually make good movies. Over the years, we've had plenty of really bad video game to movie adaptations, but recently I feel like we've had an upside of those. But I feel like for this specific genre, the ratio definitely is that there are a lot more bad video game to movie adaptations versus good video game to movie adaptations. So I kind of just wanted to talk about, a little bit about what we got over the years versus what we're getting now, and kind of where we're standing with the future, because I feel like, especially with the upcoming years in the film industry, there's a lot more that are going to be based off of video games. So we'll talk about that in this video. I definitely feel like the video game to movie adaptation, like this specific genre itself, is very cursed. I feel like a lot of directors that try to tackle these properties just can't really catch a break, but it really lies in the fact that just there's not a lot of faith in the source material. I mean, if you kind of just stick to what the bone works are for these games, I think you could really just use that as their advantage. I feel like they try to make it more marketable, I would say, but if it's already successful as a video game, and that's the reason why these guys want to make it into a big picture or a TV series or whatever they're trying to do with the properties, then why not just use what worked already and do it again, but obviously elevate it with a better not grounded story, but just an overall better story. And you bring your A-list actors that you want to bring in to tackle the characters that are in these video games that you want to bring to life. I just feel like it's definitely just a cursed thing with people trying to tackle these things. I feel like just because of all the failures that happened over the years. I mean, this all kicked off with Super Mario Brothers in 1993, and then we got Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Silva. And even though those actors and the other moments in those films are really good and special, that doesn't mean that it was an overall great project. And then it continued. We got Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, and then we got the Resident Evil series starting off in 2002 that just basically ignored a lot of the lore within Resident Evil. And again, it's just a problem of these companies trying to cash in on things that it doesn't necessarily need to use to cash in. Like I was saying before, you have great boneworks, you have great architecture, basically, you could say, if that makes any sense. Like, they're already building blocks to this that you can use, but they're not using it. And then it continues even after that with House of the Dead, Alone in the Dark, Doom, Blood Rain. The only shining example that we got out of this early 2000s to mid 2000s years was the Silent Hill adaptation, the first one. Then they kept continuing with like Hitman, a Far Cry, which I didn't even know was an actual movie that they tried to make. Max Payne, another Street Fighter. Tekken, yes, Tekken, the fighting game, also got a movie adaptation, but it was so bad that it just probably went straight to DVD. They did a sequel to Silent Hill, but that was nowhere near as good as the first Silent Hill adaptation that they did. They also made a Need for Speed, which actually probably is an underrated movie adaptation. I would probably put that in the good bracket, but again, it's just only a small handful of actual good ones. And then we got another attempt at Hitman. We had the Warcraft movie adaptation. Assassin's Creed, again, another decent one that really didn't get its chance, but I think that really falls to weak spots within the story itself, and it, again, not taking the source material and using that to its advantage. We had, of course, another Tomb Raider attempt. We had Detective Pikachu, Sonic the Hedgehog, which actually probably were two of the better video game movie adaptations. We had Monster Hunter, which obviously failed horribly. We had the recent Mortal Kombat adaptation, which again was pretty decent overall, but it had a lot of weak points, which again didn't work to this movie's advantage, even though it got a sequel, just because of the money that it brought in. Hopefully the sequel actually learns from its mistakes and doesn't repeat them, so only time will tell with that one. We had another well-received video game to movie adaptation with Werewolves Within, and then after that came out Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, which really wasn't that great. I was really hoping that one would kind of really turn this around, but it obviously didn't. And then the most recent one that came out this year of 2022 would be Uncharted with Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland. Or I should probably reverse that, since Tom Holland's Nathan Drake, even though I kind of don't really see it, but it works, whatever. I haven't seen the movie yet, but from what I've heard, it's pretty enjoyable, even though it doesn't do a lot with the actual gaming lore. But that's okay. I feel like it's a first entry, so you kind of got to get more general audience plus people that are a fan of the games into it. So I feel like it has, from what I've heard, it has a good mix of both. I still want to see this movie. But anyway, so for about 29 years, over all those years, we've had plenty of bad film adaptations versus the good ones that came out, that obviously stuck out and now are getting greenlit sequels and really capitalizing on the game lore and the game story and using that to its advantage and not really disrespecting it, basically. And I think that's a good thing, because it is showing promise for more future projects as well. And those future projects include, some of you already know by now, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is coming out April 8th of this year. We also had the announced Borderlands project. We have Paramount Plus's Halo TV series, which actually looks promising. But there are some questionable things within that series that they're doing. But I'm not going to really judge it right now, just based on what we're seeing. I'm going to wait until at least a couple episodes are out and I get the chance to watch them. Maybe do like a 30-day trial and see if it's worth it for Paramount Plus, if that helps with this show coming out, if that brings more people to that streaming service. So we'll see about that. Then we also have an adaptation for The Last of Us coming out. That's probably going to be a more well-known one at this point. We do have Pedro Pascal coming in as the main character of Joel, and of course Pascal as Mandalorian specifically. We also have Lyanna Mormont from Game of Thrones. That is the badass little girl played by Bella Ramsey, who leads the charge with the North and goes at it with the White Walkers during season 6. So that's pretty sweet to see that coming. Other than that, there's also other pretty big castings with that include Nick Offerman amongst them, and also some people that worked on the actual Last of Us video game and provided motion capture for it. So again, this is promising for the future of these video game to movie adaptations. And with series being a big option now, especially with the streaming services all trying to have exclusive series, it's no brainer that they're going to try to use game IP to fill in with that, to kind of elongate that and keep viewers. So that's going to be a good advantage towards the people that want this to be good, like myself. So fingers crossed, because they're also trying to do a God of War adaptation, and that's with Amazon Prime and of course Sony Video Games. They're going to be working and collaborating on this, if it actually is something that is true, because pretty much right now it's just a strong rumor reported by a good trade. So as you see on screen right now, when I show it as I'm talking, they're reporting that this is going to be a project that they're working on. So that's another thing to look forward to. And those are the projects that are currently in development and have more footwork going on. Other than that, they've announced a movie adaptation for Five Nights at Freddy, Gears of War, a Ghost of Tsushima, Just Cause, a Just Dance film. There's been the Minecraft film that's been rumored. There's a Metal Gear Solid film that's in the works. A couple other adaptations I'm reading here is going to be one for Saints Row, another one for Yakuza. There's also the TV series for Mass Effect that's going to be another project that I believe Amazon Prime is looking to tackle and make into a series. And that's a great thing to look forward to if they really do get good groundwork for that and have promised to put it out. It's a great space horror video game, and they could really use that to their advantage. Especially it would help with the video game film genre, and then also help with the horror genre, because in and of itself that game is a horror game. So yeah, so hopefully with all this news that we have for the new projects and the recent turn of actual good films coming from video games, maybe we could see this ratio turn itself around and more or less even the odds, I guess you would say, especially just because the number of bad movies here outweigh the number of good movies. So definitely keep your eyes out for these projects that start to come out and start to get more announcements and maybe even more first looks and trailers and such things like that. Of course, I'll be covering it as it comes out, so when in doubt, just check out the channel. But that's gonna wrap it up for this video, guys. I hope you guys had a good time listening to me kind of go through everything as far as the video game to film adaptation genre, and you know, just how different it is from the other genres in terms of wins and losses. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until then, be on the lookout for some other videos. They're going to be coming out pretty soon. So until then, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.